Hello, y'all. Welcome to another week of the 99% Local Podcast. If you hadn't had a chance to subscribe, what are you waiting for? Go do it now. Well, maybe not right now. Maybe after this episode. You can do that on your favorite podcast app or listen on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, whatever. Just go to Google and type in the name of this podcast and you will find it. If you'd like to get in touch with me, drop me a line at 99percentlocalpod@gmail.com, or you can visit the website at 99percentlocalpod.com. Now that stuff's out of the way, let's get to this week's show. The guy I have on the show today, well, his name's Adam Searan. You may have heard of him, or you may have not. He's a Nashville songwriter, producer, and rising country artist, a unique, one-of-a-kind country artist at that. Adam blends acoustic with pop, Americana, folk, and even hip-hop. He's won numerous awards for his songwriting and even placed second in Season 1 of the Nash Next country competition, which you could compare to a competition like American Idol or The Voice. Adam's songs have been featured in several primetime hit television series, and he shared the stage with acts such as Rae Scott, Rae Lynn, Cassadee Pope, Casey James, Aaron Lewis, yes, that Aaron Lewis, formerly of the band Stain, and many more. Nash Country Weekly described Adam's live performances as compelling, drawing the audience in with his vocals that are as authentic and sincere as his lyrics. With that said, let's get to it and get local with recording artist Adam Searan.
I don't know where the light goes when the sun fades away.
It's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me, man. I am Adam Searan, the one and only Adam Searan. That is totally me. Artist, writer, producer. I mean, everything music. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. It's what I was born to do. So here I am.
Yes, but we should say award-winning songwriter and recording artist, right?
Yes. I forgot about that. But yes, award-winning songwriter, producer, and artist. And yeah, it's something I'm really proud of. But I've won, it's like John Lennon Songwriter Awards, Unsigned Only Awards, lots of different independent awards. I was 2017 Indie Country Artist of the Year here in Nashville. I mean, there's a lot of different things that I've done. So yeah, heck yeah, that's me, the guy.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So we'll dig more into that, but let's kind of step back and talk about, your story, your background, where you came from, because I call this podcast the 99% Local Podcast because most of the people that live here aren't from here. So.
Well, I can tell you some stories. I mean, I grew up here, and it was awesome. I mean, when I was a kid, we had Opryland, we had all that stuff, and it was really cool. It was fantastic. My dad used to play for the Opry at Johnny Paycheck. One of my uncles used to be Reba McEntire and Faith Hill's band leader. He's still doing sessions today. I'm not going to name drop him, but some of y'all know who he is. But anyway, yeah, I grew up here, man. I was here when Hickory Hollow had a mall before it became this, like, I think it's a library now or something ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so I grew up here. It was my jam. I went to school here. I graduated at Antioch. I went to Overton High School for a little bit. I mean, I kind of skipped ahead like most of my life till I got to high school. But hey, look, I went to Carter Lawrence Elementary School too, Hermitage Elementary School. I mean, I've been all over the place. But yeah, Nashville is my zone.
Awesome, man. So did you grow up playing music?
I didn't grow up playing music. I actually grew up singing music. I loved music. And so you've heard this story a million times, like, oh, I used to sing music when I was, going to church and stuff. But I really did. I really loved Christian music when I was growing up, y'all. Like the cheesy, weird stuff. Let's see. I think one of my favorite memories is I used to my brothers and my cousins and I used to listen to DC Talk all the time. And
yeah.
For those of you who grew up in Nashville, like, you can't have grown up in Nashville without being exposed to Christian music. And also, you can't have grown up in Nashville without knowing who DC Talk is. So the funny story about that is that, my cousin and my brother would always fight over who got to be, Toby Mac and Kevin Max. And I was always like, yo, I want to be the one that can really sing. I want to be Michael Tate. So I was Michael Tate, but it was funny because, later on in church, we actually ended up meeting them. But we grew up going to Christ Church. I loved to sing. That was my jam. And then when I was 11, I heard Oasis on the radio, and I probably wasn't supposed to know that there was a radio on my cassette Walkman. Yeah, that's right. Cassette Walkman, Sony Walkman, y'all.
Yep.
But I discovered it, and I fell in love with it, and the rest is history. I went and I asked my dad. I said, Dad, I think I want to play guitar. And he was like, well, guitar's in the other room. Good luck. So that was it. So after that, it was like my journey began,
Yeah, so cool. So Oasis was really the first band that, inspired you to get into the music industry, besides DC Talk anyway.
Yeah, besides DC Talk, I mean, there's, like Carmen and Audio Adrenaline and all these Christian bands and stuff. And I grew up singing in the, the youth choir and doing all these different things. But, rock and roll just really made that difference, push me over the edge and say like, hey, I really want to create. I remember hearing Wonderwall, and I instantly felt something, and it was just, to me, it was a cool vibe. And so I remember that was the first song I learned how to play. And it took me months and months of watching my friend David Colon, who was the worship leader at the time for my youth group, play guitar, to learn how to play Wonderwall with like one finger. And, after I learned that, I started experimenting immediately with writing my own tunes. And wow. I know. I can't believe it. It's been such a long time. That was like when I was 11.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not going to say how old I am now, but y'all can go on my Instagram, and whoever can guess that doesn't know me gets a free CD or something.
Oh, man. Okay, so your awards, the one I thought was really cool was that Songwriter Award, the John Lennon one in 2014. For your song Last. That's probably my favorite jam of yours. Is that one of the more popular?
Actually, I was on Spotify today looking at my artist stuff, and I've had songs that have had more streams and stuff like that, but still to this day, Last is still the most popular. And I think that award means the most to me because it was so unexpected. It was at a time of my career when everybody was looking at me like, who is this guy? What's he doing? And it was around the time when Nashville was really like, yeah, we don't really get your brand of country. We don't really get your brand and your style, so keep telling your story. And it was just really neat because that song won that award. It came out of nowhere. I had just signed my pub deal with Demolition Music. And it was just an awesome thing because, I mean, you can't like Oasis and not know who the Beatles are, right? So for me, it was this huge honor. And it was kind of the first time of many where I was like, ha, look at this, Nashville. How do you like me now? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. It was very validating.
Yeah, so I read too, Nash Next. Is that even still going on? I know they did that in 2018, but I haven't seen anything in 2019.
I don't know if they're still doing Nash Next, but I'm very proud to be a part of season 1. And, it was really cool to win that. And it was a lot of people were like, oh, well, man, we wish you would have gotten first place. But really, being second place and actually still being in Country Weekly, still going and opening for Rae Lynn and doing all these things that I got to do, it was incredible because I got all the exposure and I didn't have to sign my life away. I didn't have to sign any crazy deals. And I got to meet Scott Borchetta, and So I've actually had the chance to see him a lot throughout my career, and even work with some artists that he's been working with. And so, it really was a great open door to start that relationship. And for anybody who's doubting Scott Borchetta, let me tell you, that dude is freaking, he is awesome. And he is a lover of independent local music. And he definitely does champion the underdog. And so for me, Nash Next, I mean, you like the song Last. Well, Scott Borchetta and his wife, Sandy, were very instrumental in helping to co-produce that video. So there you go. There's a little behind the scenes. But without Nash Next, none of that would have ever happened.
So we haven't really talked about your style of music. To me, it's, you're blending acoustic with pop and country. I even hear like some folk or Americana mixed in there too.
It's crazy. I've often been compared to being like sort of like the Ed Sheeran of country music, just,
Sure.
For doing loop pedals and doing something different. And, for showing up to a show or a festival or a concert with no band, no John Deere hat, just a loop pedal, just a loop pedal and some great songs and everything. Everything goes for me from, like you said, the Americana to the rock and roll to country to old school country. I have a huge reverence for classic country music. I think it's great. I love the stories. It feels amazing. But even, a lot of people don't know this about me either, but I also have a lot of roots in hip hop and rap and things like that. So, blending all of those together to kind of make my own style. Some people are like, oh, well, we don't really see you as country, or we don't really see you as this or see you as that, but we love everything that you do. And so I think that comes from the fact that I try to write music that's genuine and that just comes from where I grew up, and it's, a big part of who I am. So I just love the fact that that people can really connect from all genres, and all backgrounds with what I'm doing. So yeah, man.
Yeah, so I see you'll have to correct me here, but it looks like you put out an EP in 2014.
Yes.
And and another album in 2016, which was more full length maybe?
Yes.
Okay. So I see you put out some singles last year too, like Man Whore,
Yes.
Where I'm a Bee and Space. Those are some cool jams, a little bit different than, the full length.
Well, so here's the thing. So the full length, so we have the EP and then we have the full length. So back when I did all of those songs. It was a discovery period for me. It was a real development. It was a huge development portion of my career. And, those songs are really important because they helped give me the confidence, and they helped mold my songwriting and take it to the next level. And so that's why I go back and I still listen to that stuff. I still play a lot of that stuff live, just because it's a huge part of my story. But after I released that, I went through the whole thing where it was like, oh, we don't really know what your story is. You don't look like everybody else. You don't sound like everybody else. We don't really know what to do with you. And, I also went through the thing where, there were producers who were like, hey, we want to produce you, but we want to take all of your budget and leave you with nothing. And it was like, okay, no, I can't do that. I got to eat, I got to survive. And one of the things that always bothered me was, how come all of these other people are making so much money up front off of my creativity, right? And I'm supposed to eat beans and rice, and no. And, so I went through this whole phase, right? And I'll never forget, I started doing my loop pedal thing a little bit more. I decided I was going to upgrade and progress. And I played this showcase, and I'll never forget Rae Geyer Now, those of you who don't know who Rae is, she's with Ren's song. She's responsible for Old Dominion. That's and a bunch of other super crazy hit songs stuff. Well, she was at the showcase that I was opening up for Heidi Rae at the time. I brought out my loop pedal. I was so excited, y'all. Like I was like, yes, I have a winning thing here. Like it's amazing. And I had this cool thing all mapped out. And Rae goes, this set was great, but you didn't play last, which I didn't. She was like, that's my favorite song. And then her second comment was like, yeah, the loops are really neat. So, yeah, right. Yeah. so I went home and like, I was like, the loops are really neat. Great. All right. I got to figure this thing out. So I went home, I ripped all my stuff out of my recording studio upstairs, all my PA gear out of the garage, and I put it all in a circle in my living room. And I set my loop pedals down, and I was like, I will not sleep. And I didn't. Y'all, I would start at like noon and go to like 2 or 3 a.m., like working on sounds and working on my songs and working on these loops. Okay, so anyway, what happened was I came up with this really cool thing. And then finally, Haley and Michaels, who just released a song I co-wrote with them on Sony Red, which I'm super excited about. It's called Drunk Text. Go listen to it right now. All right, shameless plug.
Yep.
So I go to write with them. I write with them, and I'm like, hey, guys, we hit it off and became really good friends. So I said, hey, guys, would you be interested in stopping by the house and checking out this new live thing that I'm working on? And they said, sure. They come by. They're blown away. So I'm like, yes, it's not needed anymore. Well, then I go in and I'm complaining one day at one of our writing sessions about getting ripped off and people trying to, get greedy and all this jazz. And by the way, none of these people that I'm talking about are with Demolition Music Publishing. They are the freaking best team in the universe. I love them. So please support them. They support local independent artists and writers too. They're amazing. So Ryan from Haley Michaels goes, dude. And that's how he talks, I swear. He's like, dude, man, this is great. Who was like, hey, Ryan, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, bro. He's like, man, you should totally produce your own records like this. And then it was like, bing, lights go off in my head. So that's where Space came from. So
okay.
I write this song with John D'Agostino, and I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. I'm not waiting on this label or that budget or this thing or that thing. I'm just going to get in my studio. I'm going to do it just like I do with my loop pedal, and I'm making this record. So I made it. It was my first song to ever do over 20,000 streams. I think it did like 50, somewhere around 50 with Spotify and SoundCloud combined. Like it was a huge validating success for me. So that's when I did that. And then after that, I was like, yes, I did it. So then I wrote a song about my frustrations dating as a musician called Man Whore.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
And so that's where so then I was like, okay, well, I produced Space. Well, now I can produce Man Whore, and I can tell everybody that I'm not their man whore and see what happens. Bam. Did over 100,000 streams. Super excited. Then I decided to write a song with Smith Curry called Where I'ma Be. And that's where that came from. It's about Key West. It's about the Key West Songwriter Fest. One of my favorite events to go to every year. You should go. And that was the first song to ever do over 150,000 streams. So, the reason I'm sharing all this is because that's, not only is it like the story of my EPs and my singles, but like everything that's come out as an advancement and development, and it all comes from hard work and hustling and struggling and playing the gigs making $50 for 4 hours of music. It's research and development, you know, all that time that I spent out there playing these crazy gigs, you know, and doing all this crazy stuff. You know, I was developing my ability to not only write, but also like produce and engineer and release my own music as an artist. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So sorry that was long or whatever, but that in gist is the story.
Yeah. So are you doing producing for other people too?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. Yes, I absolutely am. I am working on some projects right now. I'm actually, one of the things I'm working on is I'm working on a single with Karen Waldrop. So we'll see what happens with that. I've done some work for Curb Records. You know, so there's a lot of opportunities and doors that have opened up for me for producing, but I'm also producing two very special, not country, secret projects that I'm super excited about. One is it's a hip hop rap project for TV, film, sync stuff. And then also I'm working on sort of an Avicii style pop features record. And I've been working with some really rad people for features on that one. So
Awesome.
I know. I can't say too much because, you know, like it's going to come out soon. Both of them.
Yeah. So I heard, and maybe I found this on social media, you play a song live that is not recorded, Drinking Solo. I have not heard it, but are you recording that soon?
Actually, so Drinking Solo is already recorded.
Okay.
There's a lot of songs actually now that are already recorded, but there may or may not be some talks for some bigger things going on. So I'm kind of waiting on the release time window.
Sure.
To see whether I'm going to do this independently or whether it's time to take that next step and partner with an independent label or partner with a major label.
Okay. I hope I didn't spoil anything with that, but
no, not at all. Like, I
okay.
mean, you know, the thing about this industry is that there's always something in the works. There's always something going on. Everybody makes a million promises before they keep one. So, you know, if you're an artist and you're working really hard and you're hustling and you're doing it right, every month you're going to be excited about a million potential deals that could possibly happen. And the hard part about that is, you know, you get discouraged when things fall through or they don't work out. But you have to use that as motivation, right? Because the thing is, if the interest is coming in, then that means that people are listening. And that means that people are paying attention, you know. And if they're paying attention, it means you're on their radar, right? So you just have to keep hustling. And, you know, eventually what's going to happen is somebody's going to walk in the door and they're going to put their money where their mouth is. And they're going to say, hey, we have these opportunities for you and it's going to work out. You know?
Yep. So do you have any, you're doing a lot of recording and producing, as I can tell from social media, but do you have any shows or things coming up around Nashville soon? I know you just played the Hard Rock recently.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm playing at the Hard Rock every now and then. I've kind of stepped back from the Nashville music scene for a little while. And I'll play shows here and there, but right now my main focus is writing and producing. And I am working with a lot of independent artists. I'm working with a lot of new artists and a lot of new writers. And, you know, I mean, my vision is always for the future, you know, like whether it's, you know, whether it's writing, artists or whatever. So that's where my focus is right now. But yes, I am still playing. The best place to find out about my shows, if you're interested, and you should be, is my Instagram page. So, you know, I'm a firm believer of focusing on a couple social media platforms. So my main platforms right now are going to be, I would say I'm most active probably on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to find out where I'm playing or where I'm going to be, where I'm going to be at, ha ha ha, no pun intended. You can check me out on Instagram at Searan, also Facebook.com at Searan. So that's me.
Before we wrap up here, just a couple other things. So what was it like playing the Ryman, the historic Ryman? I believe you played there in 2017.
I did, and first and foremost, I want to say that what made that night super special, even bigger than the Ryman, was my buddy Raymond Cruz. It was all about his fight against cancer and leukemia, and so I just found out recently that he passed, and so for me, like that night will always be super special because, my first time playing the iconic Ryman, it wasn't to be cool. It wasn't to be famous. It wasn't in honor of, anything like special that I have done in the universe, like it was all about helping a teenage kid raise money so that he could fight cancer and so that he could live a little longer. And we became really good friends after that. And his parents told me that he had my poster on his wall, and I actually signed a guitar for him that night. And I even helped him set up a recording studio at his house before he passed. And, his parents were telling me, that's what one of the things that really kept him going was his passion for music. And so that will always be a super special night for me because it was honoring one of my really good friends in life. So, yeah, I mean, words can't even describe just the feeling of stepping out onto that stage where, I saw Oasis play once.
Yeah.
They only, Oasis only came to Nashville one time. And when they came, they played at the Ryman. So a few weeks later, my son and I went to go see Noel Gallagher because, surprise, my son Liam, he is a huge Oasis fan. And it was really cool because we actually, when I bought seats for the show, I bought the same seats that he was sitting in when I played at the Ryman. And it was just, I don't know, it was just a huge moment of victory for me, because I was like, I was there.
Yes, definitely an awesome place to see a show. So, so I know you've been posting a lot about Journey instruments.
Yes.
I believe that's that red guitar you have, which is also kind of unique. Is that the travel instrument or the folding guitar?
Yeah,
the red one. Yeah,
it is super cool. And I have I have the Journey Junior, which is like the smaller one that doesn't break down, and I've also got the first class, which is the same foldable style, but it's full size, and I love both of those because they're super great and portable. But I'm telling you, this little overhead guitar is my freaking favorite guitar in the universe. And it's because I travel a lot, and I got so tired of the airline people going, well, you're going to have to throw that under the plane there, guy, because we don't have room for your guitar. And I'm like, well, I don't have room for a $2,000 bill if you want to break my equipment. And so it's been a really great partnership. I reached out to Journey, and they really got on board with what I was doing as an artist. And so that's why I'm sponsored by them, and I absolutely love them. They're great. But those guitars are freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, I went down a rabbit hole and clicked on it and started looking at all their videos. So, and yeah, I think at this point we've lost everyone that's not into music and instruments. But
well, if you travel a lot, I actually am going to LA this next weekend, and so the flight that I had to get was last minute, so I had to fly with Frontier Airlines, which they're super famous for charging you for everything. So Frontier,
Right.
that's a huge failure on your part, like fees for everything. Like, so basically if you go on the plane and you breathe more than 10 times, they charge you $50. I'm just kidding, but they probably would if they could.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about it is, right, I measured, I did this, y'all, I swear. Like, I got out a ruler or a measure tape or whatever, and I measured the dimensions of the Journey guitar broken down. It is almost small enough to where I could almost fit it under the seat as a personal item. That's how small it is when it breaks down. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
really crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Unique too. So, all right. So what does Adam Searan do when he's not doing music, producing, or playing shows?
Well, I call Whiskey Jam and ask them for weird hats that aren't on sale yet because I collect hats. Yes. And by the way, I love Whiskey Jam. So I go to Whiskey Jam because it's fun and it's the jam. Let's see. Let's get really nerdy. I read comic books. Some comic books I get every week from Japan directly. Of course, they're translated. And yeah, I love it. You know, if two Batman movies come out at the same time and one is animated, I'll probably watch the animated one first. Also, I've gotten into longboarding, and that is really, really fun. Now, I'm not going to try to be cool and say that I'm a purist because I'm still learning. So I have an electric longboard. I have a full size one and a small size one for travel. But there's just something liberating about going downhill like 20 miles an hour. You know, I mean, it's not for everyone, but yeah, it's pretty cool, especially when you have brakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I consider, you know, there's hills here in Middle Tennessee. So I actually live in the Spring Hill area. And, you know, I told my wife I used to skate when I was a little younger. I'm approaching 40 now. And I said, hey, I think I'm going to try longboarding. She's just shook her head and said, you're probably going to break your arm or kill yourself.
Safety gear, my friend.
Yep.
It really makes a difference. You know, okay, so I talk to my girlfriend about this all the time. Every day when we talk, one of the things that I say on the phone is, I'm going to do it. I'm going to Cumberland Transit and I'm going to get a 1-wheel pint. And she's like, babe, that's so awesome. Just go get it. You deserve it. You've earned it. And I'm like, no, I can't. But I think that's my, right now, I think that's like my dream item. That's like the thing that I want most right now more than anything. It's a 1-wheel pint. I know. I can dream. It's not a longboard, but it's kind of better. I don't know how to explain it. Just go to onewheel.com. Check it out.
Yeah. Yep. All right, man. So let's do this rapid fire round really quick before we close this out. I do this with all my guests. What's like your favorite go-to place when, you know, not necessarily when you're playing music, but just to hang out? And you can't say Walmart and try on Halloween costumes either.
Damn it. Okay, so when I get bored, this is so stupid. When I get bored, sometimes my son and I just go to Target and walk around. It's true. Like, I mean, it really is true. But if you want something a little more exciting, that Losers Bar and Midtown are my absolute favorite places to go in the universe. And I go up to the rooftop and I just sit there and chill and drink Coronas all night long.
Nice. Losers. I have not been there, so I'll have to check it out. Favorite book? Do you do any reading?
Let's see. My favorite book. Oh, you know, I was going to surprise you because I'm a writer, but I really hate reading. But let's go with comic books. So my favorite comic book, actually, of all time is it's called Planet Hulk. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's a really good read, and it brings a lot of humanity to the Incredible Hulk storyline, and it is the reason why the Incredible Hulk is my favorite superhero.
Nice. Planet Hawk. I'll check that out as well. I think I know this one, but favorite music artist. So I would think that would be Oasis, but maybe. But let's think about current music. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I really listen to everything. How about my favorite? Can I go with a playlist?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just freaking love music, so I listen to everything. But I'm gonna say the Dance XL playlist on Apple Music is just on loop, repeat, forever, the best all time. And I would say my favorite artist right now that I think about it, is probably Avicii. I freaking love Avicii. I always have, but his new record, listen to the lyrics. It's like, wow, it's pretty eye-opening. Every independent artist should go listen to the new Avicii record and listen to what he's really saying to you.
All right, last one here. Favorite 90s jam?
Well, I mean, well, hang on. Let me make sure, though, this is my favorite. I don't want to throw it out there just because it was the first thing that came to my mind, but yep, it's Wonderwall. Wonderwall is my favorite.
Wonderwall, okay.
Yeah. Because,
Awesome.
maybe you're going to be the one that saves me.
Me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after all, you're my Wonderwall. It's just brilliant.
All right, man. You already mentioned earlier where people can find you, but can you tell me again?
Well, okay. So my name is weird to spell. So you can go to www.iamtheband.net. And if you have Instagram and you don't go to web pages anymore, you can just find me on all social media platforms at @Searan. That's A-D as in Daryl, Searan. Like the Searan, at @Searan.
All right. Well, cool, man. If I'm to play a song here on the end of this podcast, what song should it be?
You gotta wait. So like one of my songs, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think we should go with something like super iconic. I think it's got to be Last, man. You got to play Last.
Okay, we'll do it. Yeah.
It's where I started, and it's where we should end. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this, man.
Light up the night like fireworks against the summer sky. Two worlds collide, that's you and I. You and I lie awake, dreaming that our love will never fade. Broken trails of smoke slowly drift away, never leave a trace. I don't know where the light goes when the sun fades away. I don't know why stars fall with each brand new day. I don't know why raging fire burns to ash, but I know, yeah, I know our love will last. Seasons change, withered leaves dance in the wind. Autumn dies as the frost rolls in. Spring begins again. I don't know where the light goes when the sun fades away. I don't know why stars fall with each brand new day. I don't know why the birds flying free. A billion galaxies in the sky. Like fireworks against the summer sky. Two worlds collide, that's you and I. You and